Hello, and we're back with another episode. This time we'll just look at the two big issues, unemployment and corruption, trying to nail the big lie. Promises that job creation, never mind how it happens, would follow the Gujarat model of growth was one of the huge points of rhetoric of the election campaign of today's Prime Minister Narendra Modi. There's a book worth reading, 2012, published by Akar Publications, Poverty Amidst Plenty, and this book nails this big lie of the Gujarat government. It was deliberately debated, it was never really debated on television channels, and one of the reasons behind that appeared to be the huge corporate politician nexus, particularly when it came to Narendra Modi and the big business after the Vibrant Gujarat summits. There's been nothing particularly shining on the pace of job creation in India. Some data, example of the Labour Bureau, for a select number of mainly labour-intensive industries, show that there's even been a job decline over the last 3 years. Particularly regular formal sector jobs, which is what the aspirational youth, some of whom even voted for Modi, needed. The jobs are not happening, jobs are not coming. There's been a low productivity of jobs in agriculture, and there's been a huge upsurge in the economy caused by demonetization. The backlog of surplus workers, as estimated in the India Employment Report 2016, on the basis of the National Sample Survey data, exceeds 50 million workers, which is 50 lakh individuals are actually surplus in the job market but not getting jobs. As the glittering job promises by the Vikas Purush, Modi, fade into nothingness, inevitably the diversionary tactics on the way to 2019, which is increasing polarization, majoritarian politics, poison fuming Hindutva, begins to take ascendance. When the supreme leader can't give you jobs, then he tries to impress you with his valiant fight against corruption. What has this fight been? First, we were told that demonetization, which was unilaterally, without consulting economists, announced on 8th November 2016, was supposed to vaporize the corrupt cash hoarded by the rich, to eliminate counterfeit currency used by terrorists, and to actually squeeze them financially. Now, it's almost like November, December, Jan, Feb. We are like almost into 9-10 months after demonetization, and the Reserve Bank is still counting notes. We are not sure, we are not told how much cash actually got deposited in the Reserve Bank and what's the plus minus balance. Some people even suspect that maybe the Reserve Bank does not want to admit that they've got back many more notes than they had circulated in the first place, actually putting a big lie again to the whole demonetization impulse, which was supposedly an effort to contain corruption, particularly if the black money has come back as white back into the system. The hardships caused by demonetization are also something which the government is trying to conceal. It has a good PR machinery, media helps it, television channels are actually good lapdogs of this regime. So the 20% decline in retail business in Bangalore, a survey that was carried in Economic and Political Weekly of May 6th, which showed that Panipat, which is a textile hub of North India, there was a collapse of domestic business sales of 40% to 80% as a result, rendering 350,000, that's 350,000 workers jobless, again not mattering to the rhetoric in the air. Now, how corrupt is this regime? How corrupt is the Modi regime, and how corrupt or how not corrupt are the BJP ruled states? And is corruption simply a white lie which has been appropriated without facts on the ground? How can we forget, say, the Vyapam scam or Lalit Gate, which has all taken place by either the central ministers of the Modi regime or BJP run states? One of the things that the BJP cahoots and the Sangh Parivar keep harping on is the fact that the UPA was nailed, UPA 1 and 2 were nailed because of the huge illegal mining scams. Never mind the fact that it was Supreme Court monitoring actually that nailed that corruption or controlled it. Let's go to Chhattisgarh. Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh are two very good examples of extremely corrupt regimes. In Chhattisgarh, you have a minister, Brijmohan Agarwal, who has built an expensive money spinner resort for VIP guests on tribal land, stealing tribal land, plunder of tribal land. Indian Express broke this story, first discovering that 4.12 hectares of land had been grabbed by a company called Aditya Srijan Private Limited, with Agarwal's sons Abhishek and his wife Sarita being directors in the said company. Then, as the investigation went further, the Express discovered that 13.90 hectares has further been grabbed, and another 26 hectares has also been grabbed by the minister and his wife. This is pristine forest land which has been grabbed for commercial purposes from Adivasis, from indigenous peoples. But Agarwal refuses to answer. Tejasvi Yadav, Lalu Yadav are hounded by the media and television cameras, but no such cameras have reached either Bijmohan Yadav, who continues in his very, very important place in the Raman Singh cabinet, and his wife. Raman Singh, by the way, was also involved in a 1,000 crore rice scam, and that scam also has conveniently disappeared from public view. In fact, television channels have done a sort of a PR job on this whole scam broken by Express by going to local villagers and saying how happy they are that such a resort is coming up for tourist purposes. However, Indian Express has interviewed 3 different people, including a widow, who clearly say that they were cheated through forgery or simply coerced into selling off their plots of land on which they were actually earning a very respectable living. So we live in an era and we live in a time where truth becomes fiction and fiction becomes truth. Goebbelsian is actually a good word for it. Narendra Modi not disclosing the names contained in the Panama Papers. Venkaiah Naidu, possibly already our Vice President now, his son's car selling company was bestowed special favor by the Telangana government. Bulks of Innovas were sold in one sweep, giving a seller's commission worth crores of rupees to Venkaiah Naidu's son. Venkaiah Naidu has denied this and denied bestowing any favors upon his daughter's NGO, and Modi has even patted him on the back and anointed him as Vice President. What about the Vyapam scam? Madhya Pradesh, Shivraj Chauhan, his wife, secretarial staff, not to forget top leaders of the RSS, which ruined the career of thousands of prospective doctors in Madhya Pradesh, when almost everyone who rose to expose or could expose have been systematically eliminated. At the last count, over 55 witnesses to the Vyapam scam have been dead, meaning killed in cold blood by God knows whom, but no fair investigation by the police. Should we speak only of Vyapam, or should we also talk about the UP Deputy Chief Minister Keshav Prasad Maurya, who has cases under 120B, 153A, conspiracy, 195, 147, 506 of the CRPC against him? Not to mention Yogi Adityanath, who too has a serious case of insightful speech leading to riots and deaths and murders, also pending him, with the High Court has given sanction to prosecute and is also investigating. The same governor of Uttar Pradesh, Ram Nayak, a sworn Rashtra Swayam Sevak Sangh follower, was quick to give sanction to prosecute Azam Khan, of the previous minister in the previous government and administration, but does not want to have either Yogi Adityanath or Keshav Prasad Maurya investigated. So it's not really a question of whether Modi and his stalwart chief ministers are corrupt, but the fact that they control the machinery, who decides who will be investigated or not. Let's not forget Babu Bukharia, by the way. In 2013, while Modi was still Chief Minister Gujarat, he was convicted of a 54 crore mining scam in Saurashtra, Modi's home state. He continued in the cabinet, proudly sitting next to the Chief Minister, who today claims that he is the poster boy for a war against corruption. Media has also not rushed either to Modi or to Maurya or to Adityanath about the charges against them. We can't also forget the PM and the issues of the Sahara Birla papers, or the fact of his own expenses on foreign travel, which have been denied under RTI. The famous slogan "Soot Boot Ki Sarkar," when the Prime Minister of a country which has a sufficient section of its people living under the poverty line, wearing a 10 lakh suit, a suit worth rupees 10 lakhs, when he met former US President Barack Obama in January 2015, is also something that we've conveniently forgotten. There was also a big scandal in Arunachal Pradesh with the Union Minister of State for Home, Kiran Rijju's brother, leading a sand mining mafia presenting false bills of transporting stones and sands in trucks while on an inquiry. Registration numbers were found to be not of the correct vehicles, and his son and brother's name was used to browbeat and influence the officers who were questioning him. Almost immediately after Nitish Kumar dumped the Mahagathbandhan on the whole charge of corruption, Arun Jaitley quickly flew down to Tamil Nadu, Chennai, to actually seek to cement political ties with the AIDMK, a regime under the former Chief Minister Jayalalitha, who is no more, but who was convicted of corruption by no less than the Supreme Court of India. Doesn't matter who decides who's corruption or not, is Arun Jaitley, is Narendra Modi and the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh. Not independent inquiries, not the courts, but it is they who will decide who are corrupt and who are not. And our television channels and their little followers will follow suit. Maharashtra under Devendra Fadnavis has seen two huge scams break up in the last 15 days. One has been about the 13 new medical colleges sanctioned by Devendra Fadnavis and his minister Vinod Taude using special powers under the Public Universities Act, despite the fact, according to the Indian Express investigation again, the colleges that were sanctioned don't have the requisite land, facilities, infrastructures. Not only that, these 13 colleges belong to a trust run by the wife of a former union minister, BJP, Rao Saib Danve now. He's now BJP state president. One belongs to an education society of BJP Rajya Sabha member Prabhakar Kore as chairperson. A law college in Borivali belongs to Ramesh Singh Thakur, a former congressman who now switched over to the BJP. So the 3 colleges linked to the trust run by Danve's wife are in Jalna district, the rest are in Mumbai, and the scam continues. Education Minister Vinod Taude, who's often seen on Marathi channels talking about corruption, is one of those who signed the permission for these colleges. So again, the question is who gives these grants, who doesn't give these grants. It's the chief minister, it's the education minister, it's the ministry, but these are discretionary. They've not met the norms, and they're very, very close to the BJP people in power today. Another scam in Maharashtra, also related to public resources, land this time, now actually follows the Prakash Mehta, one of the housing minister. Real estate, land, as we know it, is reason for much corruption all over the country. Different parties are involved in it. There's no way of saying that only the BJP is involved in it, but the fact that the BJP is also involved in it at a very high level needs to be emphasized. And now there are actually demands for Prakash Mehta's resignation. The Congress and the NCP have demanded this after Devendra Fadnavis actually had to order a probe into the MP Mills compound project in Tardeo, and where the Prakash Mehta is allegedly involved. The MHADA, the owner, which is the state thing, is supposed to be state ownership is supposed to be only on paper. And according to the allegations carried by the Indian Express after the investigation, we hear that the housing minister led by Prakash Mehta has bypassed all the rules to benefit the same developer all over again. So again, we are kind of faced with this extremely piquant situation where corruption is actually labeled depending on the party you come from. If you're BJP and corrupt, the media won't hound you, won't follow you, at least the television media. Fortunately, newspapers are still doing investigations. But if you're Congress and corrupt, Samajwadi and corrupt, BSP and corrupt, then make sure you will not be allowed to forget it. There are also allegations against Prakash Mehta, Maharashtra Housing Minister, of violating the development control rules and also of granting favors and sanctioning projects to persons close to him in the Slum Redevelopment Authority. 500 crore benefit, it is alleged, to a private developer close to Mehta. Of course, the ministers say that the charge is baseless, but the fact is charges stick, and if Tejasvi Yadav can also be hauled up for allegedly Benami properties, then I think we need to ask questions about the Chhattisgarh government, Madhya Pradesh government, Maharashtra government, and even sections of the central government wherever there are allegations of corruption. We've had no Lokpal appointed by the Modi regime who talks of corruption all the time. They're not really concerned about an independent Lokpal. They want the Whistleblowers Act to be completely diluted. So all in all, it appears that the entire rhetoric of either granting or giving or creating employment or eradicating corruption is really, this truth is a lie which is carries through only because of an extremely compliant and even scared media. Very, very unfortunate truths that stand before us when we look at the issue of whether jobs have been created or whether this government is actually a non-corrupt government or not. We need to take all these facts in mind. Thank you very much for listening.